Well, welcome back. It's episode 3 of the Sensorites. William Russell has vacated the chair to avoid the hidden danger that lies herein, but we have Ray Cusick, Joe Greig and Carole Ann Ford. And Carole, this is a lovely episode for you and a lovely story for you. You're doing some of the stuff that recalls that first episode where Susan's mysterious.
Yeah, I was delighted to be doing it too. I mean, it's very much more the way I wanted to play her in this. I don't quite know how that came about. Maybe I've been bleating on a bit too much, and they said, "Oh, for goodness' sake, let her have it, let her do it." But anyway, it was great. It was great. I don't think I was allowed any more telepathic intercommunication after this. I think there might have been discussions up above saying, it'd be too easy to resolve things if I could have telepathic communication. So I don't know. I think it was the fate of K9 too. You made it too easy.
Yeah. So the more you can do, the less jeopardy there is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But it's interesting because as a young woman in the show, you have a young female producer, and I would have thought there would be some sympathy, therefore, from Verity. If you were saying, can't I do something more than what screaming girls do in adventure serials?
I don't think anybody ever had a totally free hand, did they? They were always under pressure from other departments about what was allowed and what was not allowed, and I don't know. I don't know the politics of it at all. We weren't privy to that.
And let's not underestimate Verity being, one of the early female producers in television. I mean, this was quite a big deal, I would guess, in 19...
What, this show?
Well, and the fact that Verity was a young woman in charge.
Absolutely. Oh, goodness me. I mean, she was a very strong lady. I mean, I was very much in awe of her. And I very much regret that because of the politics of the time, actors and, them, the suits and the directors and producers and things didn't actually sort of get together too much in those days. I mean, you knew your place,
yeah.
And it's a shame. I would love to have become friendly with her. I mean, in later years, I did become friendly, and I was amazed at how much we had in common. It was great. And we had great fun times together. So she was a most wonderful person. Fascinating person. And she certainly had her finger on the pulse. I mean, she knew exactly what should be done and how it should be done and where things should be going, what direction. And she didn't stand fools gladly at all, I must say. She was quite formidable and quite frightening in some ways.
Nothing that isn't ours.
And Joe, coming into Doctor Who, as you have as a guest actor, fairly early on in its history, were you well aware of the show Doctor Who before you?
Oh yes,
were in it?
I'd watched Doctor Who for a long time.
Were you a fan?
Everyone watched
He's
Doctor
not
Who,
answering
I guess.
that.
He's not sure. And Ray, just picking up where we left up, you were working for Verity, and she was, in control of the series. What did she bring to it for you?
Well, she was obviously on my side, I think. I think she was very aware of the restrictions. First of all, we were in small studios, and Lime Grove originally, and also the small budgets. So I think she pushed for the programme to progress.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that and the studio, because there's a lot of pushing going on with this story. We are now in Lime Grove Studio D,
yes.
And that resulted in a lot of flurrying, I was going to say emails then, but not communications. And this Lime Grove Studio D was deemed not to be suitable for Doctor Who. Can you tell us why this was? Was it space?
So small.
And hot.
So
and
tiny.
Uncomfortable.
And
I can remember one incident where the boom operator was extending the boom, and the rear part of the boom, to get the length, they had to open a door to a room so that he could back into this room so he could extend his arm. It was terribly tiny. I think the main cycler armour was only 12 foot high.
Right. Well, that's why, therefore, when it was allocated originally, Lime Grove D and Lime Grove G, and Verity said no, which must have been quite that's quite impressive.
Oh yes.
And the compromise was you got TC 3 and 4, but had to do this episode in D as a compromise, but there was a warning that union difficulties would occur if Doctor Who stayed in Studio D. Was that just because it was too difficult, nigh on impossible to do?
Well, it was upstairs. Studio D was upstairs. So all the scenery had to be brought in by lift. And the initial TARDIS set, the early TARDIS set, was very complicated. And the design had to be cut down, bits taken away, so that the crew would have time to erect the set overnight in the studio. But as I say, it was complicated because everything had to be brought up by lift. There was just no space.
They want me to forget. All the voices begging me and imploring me to forget.
John's just woken up.
You look much better, John, much better. We'll soon have you as good as new.
I don't like the voices.
And a hot studio probably wasn't good news for you, Joe, because you were in a mask and a hot costume. Did you lose a few pounds?
Yeah.
Well, as Raymond brought up legs, Verity had very nice legs. I remember her sitting at rehearsal once and she crossed her legs. And I had a newspaper in front of me, and I drew a little picture of Verity, emphasising the legs. And I showed it to her, and she said, "Is that me?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Can I have it?" I said, "Yeah, you tear it up."
And did you ever get employed by Verity Lambert again, Joe?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I don't think so. She may have produced something I was in for another channel.
Now, that's the whole point, isn't it?
But
how long? I mean, you're asking...
Now, looking at this, obviously, black and white, Doctor Who's early years were black and white. When you're designing for black and white, Ray, it may seem like a silly question, but does that alter the way that... Would you do the colour scheme differently to if you were designing in colour, because different colours show up in different ways on black and white?
I designed in colour, but at the same time thinking about how the colours would look in black and white. They did try out some experiments early on with everything in monochrome. Everything was shades of grey. The sets, the furniture, everything. It was an experiment. But the actors they got in to perform in this set were so depressed by it, they dropped the idea. But generally, I designed in colour. And of course, when in the early days of colour, in the studio, you also had black and white monitors, so you could compare the pictures.
It's interesting there because you got the black coat of Bill against the pale door and the white of the Sensorites against the dark. It looks as though it was designed to be that way.
And in terms of design, your costume there, would you have much of a say, if any say at all? And did you have opinions on your costumes? Would you have liked to have been dressed
As a
differently?
matter of fact, my mum made the blouse that I'm wearing there. And I don't remember where the little pinafore thing came from. But no, I didn't have a great deal. If I had had my way, I'd have been wearing a conglomeration of stuff that we'd have picked up along our travels. I was aching to be allowed to wear something from some other century or something from some future place that we've been to. I mean, as a girl of that age, mind you, there's debate whether she was 15 or whether she was 500. I mean, who knows in Gallifreyan terms how old she actually was. But being depicted as a 15-year-old, she would have been fascinated by the odd buckle, belt, hat, shoes, gloves, whatever, some items from the past or the future. And I think it could have been reflected in her costume. I think she could have had the most amazing things to wear. It's a shame that wasn't allowed. I did suggest it, but it wasn't allowed. I think the budget didn't run to it.
Well, we're all ready now.
I will stay on the ship. You must proceed to the Sense Sphere. The First Elder awaits you.
Well, you've just said goodbye to Barbara and left her on the spaceship so that Jacqueline Hill can
She
have a
went on
well-deserved holiday.
Yeah, yeah. We all needed our holidays very badly after this.
And now we're on the sense sphere, where you've got a different design policy, Ray.
Yes. I think the main element here was no right angles, no straight lines.
People will increase. You cannot prove that. The deaths began at the time of the last visit of human beings. Why should we welcome to our planet the same creatures who have been the means of our destruction?
I am the ruler of this planet, am I not?
Of course.
Then what
And
is the point
in terms of going on holiday, I mean, you were working every week. Very, very difficult to juggle family life and things like that with such a
Family
workload.
life was practically non-existent, so if I did go off and do things, because I promoted the show a tremendous amount at weekends, and I had a small child at that time, my daughter Miranda, and to get some time with her, I used to take her with me very often. And she was wonderful. I mean, both my daughters have adapted very well to being children of Doctor Who.
To them, we may appear to be ugly. What we must...
And here we are with some
combed
more
up
of the central.
beard.
Yes,
That is why I have invited them to my...
a comb over the mouth.
Sure, these earth creatures are beings, as you say.
Well, one of my children used to watch it on the television, and he used to go and stand around the back waiting for me to come out.
So you were able. They knew that Daddy was in
yes,
Doctor Who.
And this small mechanism which my men brought to me looks like...
They went. One of them went behind the couch. I'd heard that said many times about this, but one of them actually did. He used to go behind the couch occasionally.
Hide behind the sofa.
Well, with you saying that, my daughter Miranda, who was about 3 at the time, was terrified whenever she saw me doing anything frightening. And she literally hid behind the couch. And it used to worry me because I thought she's going to have nightmares over this. So I actually asked if she could come into the studio and meet the Daleks and see that they weren't really very frightening. And she did. She came in and she was actually lifted inside one of the Daleks and I had a little ride around and she enjoyed it tremendously. And I thought, that's it, licked it, great. Oh no, next time she saw it, scream behind the couch. It didn't make any difference at all.
Now, it's a curious one. As a parent, Doctor Who has always been frightening for
Yeah.
kids, and sometimes in its history it's been accused of being too violent.
Right.
I mean, how do you feel about sort of entertainment's role in enabling kids to overcome fear? Is that what it's about, the fairy tale element of it, or do you worry
I
as a
mean, there have
parent?
always been very frightening fairy stories. I mean, Grimm's stories are really horrendously frightening. Sometimes I wonder, I don't think they'd get past now, if they were written now. Hideous things happening to people in them. But, I don't know. I mean, I think they know it's pretend, don't they? Even though they scream and hide behind the couch, they do know it's pretend. And I think it's quite healthy. I mean, when they play with their mates, they pretend that they're cutting their heads off and strangling them and killing them. It's only pretend. I think what is a bit more sinister is when you get the aggressive tendencies even in things like advertising, and all sorts of insinuations in advertising, which are far more frightening than if it's something which they're watching, which is perforce a play, a made-up thing.
An obvious fiction.
Yes, exactly.
Now you've got Ray. You've got a practical fountain there, and you've got some.
Yes, I think water was important in the story, I think.
Yes. The Sensorites are dying because their water is being
Yes.
poisoned.
You must not speak to them.
So that's you
That was my idea of putting that little fountain there, yeah.
bringing a visual clue into how the
Yes.
plot's going to
Exactly.
resonate.
Exactly.
How else can we tell?
And there was also we've just walked past some painted backdrops. Would they have been a flat or a curtain? And who would have done the painting just to give a bit more scale, isn't it, to the
Yes.
city?
They were being done by the scenic artists.
I do not understand. There is no
And we're talking about an obvious fiction and the play acting, which you got to do for a living. I mean, that must be fun, Joe, to go to work and create.
Oh yeah, I love
Something
it.
completely
I
unique.
like playing nasty baddies. I love that. And I had to do a wonderful one with my wife. She was my wife, and we were husband and wife in the play as well. And I was very nasty in it. And she had to go through a door, and I had to hit her. And we'd worked it out. I mean, she worked it out actually how to hit somebody. If you hit them there, It makes a loud noise, but it doesn't hurt at all. And we did that. And the audience were furious. After the show, they didn't like you in this. You're usually very good, but didn't like you in this. And my wife, she actually went around and said, well, actually, he didn't hit me. It didn't hurt. She said, I'll show you how it works. And the lady said, no, it's all right. I'll believe you.
Well, that's an interesting thing about actors getting confused or mistaken with the parts that they play, which I suspect is something you've had to put up with, Carole.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not actually no reference to this that we're watching now, but when I left Doctor Who, I obviously wanted to try something completely different, and so therefore ignored quite a few scripts that were sent to me because they were just repetitions of what I was doing, until something came up which was a series called Public Eye, in which I was playing a prostitute. And in fact, I got some absolutely furious letters from mothers saying, I allowed my child to stay up and watch you in this, and you were playing this dreadful woman. How could you possibly do this? And the answer is to make a living.
Yeah.
It is really odd. It's not just the children who associate you with the character you're playing, it's the adults too.
This switch here.
Have you had many letters, even about Doctor Who or anything, Joe, over the years?
No, but people are always quoting. They always say, oh, he was in Doctor Who. He was in Doctor Who. They don't mention it to me, but they tell other people.
Right.
Oh, I know him. He was in Doctor Who.
It never goes away
Never
from
goes
you.
away. And I was 5.5 years in salad days in the West End as a policeman. Nobody ever said, oh, he was the policeman in that.
No. Doctor Who fans will always remember somebody from Doctor Who. And we've just seen the lead villain of this. Is an interesting piece of casting. You've got Peter Glaze,
Peter.
Yeah, lovely
Yes.
Peter.
well known as a sort of comedy actor.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he was.
Playing the
I think
nasty
he
villain.
relished doing this, didn't
He
he?
did. Oh, he did indeed.
And was he fun to work with?
Oh, Peter, yeah, I always was. I worked with him and Leslie Crowther and Cracker Jack as well. He was Leslie Crowther's sort of feed, but they were both very funny. And I worked with them and enjoyed that.
I guess as an actor that's always been doing comedy, suddenly the chance to be completely nasty, that's what you jump at.
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely. Did you ever go to Peter's house? I remember I went to Peter's house once, and in his loo, the toilet roll holder was in fact a crocodile's mouth. He had very weird things in his house.
Fantastic. And his ally is an actor, Arthur Newell, who I recall you said you remembered, Carole, working with Arthur.
I think it was Russ who said actually he remembered him.
Well, we'll see that. Well, Arthur became a Conservative councillor for Enfield when the acting didn't quite work out for him.
No, I didn't. I can't remember Arthur. I knew his name. I couldn't. Ken was the one I was working with most of the time, Ken Tilson.
Ken Tilson, yes, who nearly joined us today but couldn't make it.
What about Bartlett Mullins? Has he gone as well?
Bartlett Mullins is no longer with us. He's the second elder. There he is now.
Yes.
Wielding something, no doubt. Would you have made all the props as well, Ray? Or
Well,
design?
I was just going to say that a lot of these props were kept in storage, and I'd revamp them for other stories. Those stools, little tables, I used those later in a model city. I built a model city, and they were there to support the model city.
Oh,
They
fascinating.
were repainted, but to save money, I saved anything that I thought could be reused or revamped.
Was that for the City in the Chase?
Yes.
Perhaps the Mechanoid City.
That
Yes.
looks beautiful. Look at the lines of that set. It's just beautiful.
And it's got depth as well, Ray.
Yeah.
You've suggested that by the sort of layering of it.
Yes.
Looks very Art Deco, you know. It looks just beautiful. The shapes, really nice.
Are you pleased with the way it looks, Ray?
Yes, I am really. After all these years.
But he heard the full power of our voices in his
And he didn't. I don't remember ever seeing a wobbly set.
No, well, that's the cliche that lazy journalists use about Doctor Who, which
I do.
which is galling to me as a Doctor Who fan. But Ray, as the designer of the sets, it must really annoy you if you read that.
I think
Yes,
it was the first TARDIS set more than any others.
It's a bit of cheap journalism.
Yeah.
Was the TARDIS an easy set to work, Ray? Because there's so many sort of moving parts and...
What, the console,
Yeah.
you mean? Not that easy, no, because it was very small. I mean, compared to today's one, which is vast and you can stretch across and touch things, it was all very confined. It was almost like playing a piano or something, and difficult to decide which switch was used for which purpose. So Bill and I had a sort of code, and we just, for rehearsals, we sort of wrote in which was what. And I think, at least on one occasion, I seem to remember they didn't rub out what we wrote in, so you could actually see it under the switch.
Who's to say the Doctor and Susan didn't write
Well, exactly.
in an
of course.
absent-minded moment?
Yes.
Didn't write aboard.
Rather
the
nice,
TARDIS.
those tables, actually, aren't they?
Our future.
We are being bound hand and foot and given to these people from Earth.
Did your beards get wet? They must have got wet from when you spoke through them.
Put it in your mouth all the time.
Horrible. Ugh.
It's a clever move, though, because they're not the most malleable pieces of latex. Having the beards covering the mouth shows
Yes.
the fact that they don't move an awful lot.
Yes. Yeah.
If they do not change their attitude,
And
they may have to give
And
way
you
to
got
one
actors' comfort is secondary to that, Joe.
glue all over you there.
Ugh.
for the moment.
So would you have put the mask on first and then had the wisps added every week? Or?
Yes, oh yes.
Signified by the twin sash I wear. The second elder, my advisor, wears one.
And this is Eric Francis as the chief elder. And there's some very good shots in a book that you were instrumental in, Ray, the early years of Doctor
Yes.
Who, which has got them all with their heads off.
Yeah.
And you see Peter Glaze with his spectacles.
A year or so ago, I was invited down to Cardiff Studios to meet the art department of the present series, and they had there on the table the copy of the book, Doctor Who: The Early Years, and they said, "I hope you don't mind, but we often glance through the book and pinch some of your ideas
Wow. I bet you were
and
envious of
readapt them."
I bet you were envious of the budget they have now.
Oh yes.
Friends and I succeed. Where your scientists fail, will you return the lock
But-
of my ship?
I know it may be easy to say in a position of hindsight, but isn't there something about the nature of Doctor Who's budget that actually inspired that creative zeal that you can't come up with the easy answers, so then it's reflected in the script and the acting and the inventions that you make, Ray, that makes Doctor Who so impressive so many years later?
So I would think that probably applies to the design side of it more than the acting side. I think you act with what you're given with, surely, but I think the script is the most important element of the thing for actors. I mean, if you're given a good script, it's a wonderful help.
Well, you're going to be leaving us now, Carole, so
Oh,
thank
bye-bye.
you so much for joining us. Was
Been a
it
pleasure.
Was it nice looking back at this one?
Oh, yes, much nicer than I'd imagined it was going to be. It was great. It was good.
Thank you very much for your time,
Well,
and we
thank
say
you.
a fond farewell for now to Carole Ann Ford.